into regular session.
Make a motion to go back into regular session.
Mr. Lipper, while you gentlemen were out, one of the folks in the audience received a text message from Mr. Burnside, and if you don't mind, I'd like her to put on the record what that message said.
Okay.
Can we vote to go out of executive?
Oh, did y'all
Adjourn? We're just adjourning executive session.
We just
Sorry.
returned to
Sorry, I
from executive
thought y'all
session.
voted out already. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, yeah. And then we were gonna make a motion for something else. If anybody wants to be heard, we can listen to it.
I think we have a motion and a second on the floor to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, likewise, unanimous. All right.
Okay, my apologies. Anyway, so I'll say it again, so now that we're out of executive session, one of the persons that was called as a witness received a text message from Mr. Burnside while you were in executive session, and I asked that she come forward and tell us what, just confirm to us what she received.
Please state your name for the record, please.
Hannah Jenkins with Effingham County Fire Rescue. I texted Mr. Burnside and asked if he attended to appear at the appeal hearing, and he's texted no, that he would not be here. I shared it with Miss Vicki Dunn, who then I believe shared it with the gentleman.
That's all one. All right, we have made a decision, and I'll entertain a motion to deny Mr. Jack Burns' appeal.
I'll make a motion to deny Jack Burns' appeal for reinstatement and to uphold the termination as the record states.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise. Anything else needed? This is it. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
That's correct.
All right, okay, so after a brief recess, we reconvene. It's now 10:17. Ms. Dunn, you've called Mr. Burnside, and could you tell us what your findings were?
Yes, sir. I got his voicemail. I tried twice, once on my office phone and once on my cell phone, thinking he might not recognize this number, but I got his voicemail both times. And it's the number that every other time I've called, he's answered right away.
Okay, I've got his phone number from his appeal. Could you tell us the phone number you called?
Yes, sir. 912-438-1970.
Okay, and the record can reflect then that the number that you called is the same phone number that he included at the bottom of his appeal of separation of employment dated July 13, 2018. It's also the same number that's included on his July 5, 2018 appeal of separation of employment to Steve Davis. Okay, thank you. Okay, members of the board, I think it's my role as the hearing officer to tell you that it's now 10:18. Mr. Burnside is not present. Ms. Dunn has provided him with notice of this hearing well in advance. He acknowledged the time, place, and location. So he was provided full notice and opportunity to appear today. He's not here. Ms. Dunn has again called him on using two different phone lines. In the event he was dodging one phone line, he received neither of those phone calls. The employment policies do not specifically address how to handle this scenario, but as I said previously, I think that you have two options. One would be to deem the appeal withdrawn. The other option would be to recess into executive session and deliberate based on the record that's before you. That record will include both the July 5 and July 13, 2018 appeals of separation of employment that Mr. Burnside submitted. They will also include the correspondence from Matthew Hendricks, Mark Matthews, Chase Kyle, Daniel Eason, as well as correspondence from Steve Davis, dated July 9, 2018. And so I would suggest that the board, unless the board has any questions and wants to pursue any other options, I would suggest that the board vote as to how it would like to proceed, and proceed in that manner.
All right, just for the record, we'll go into recess, and I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go into executive session and discuss personnel.
Second.
Got first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Thank you all for coming. Will we come back out here? We'll have to come back out here and adjourn, but it's necessary for these people to stay here. I'm gonna,
I'd rather them stay just a little bit longer, just in case Mr. Burns said.
okay. Ready? It's 10:05 a.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order this 4th day of December 2018. Our first thing on the agenda is consideration of a resolution to approve the agenda. I need a motion and a second.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Next thing on the agenda is appeal. Consideration to approve Jack Burns' appeal for reinstatement. I'll entertain a motion for that also in a second.
We have to hear it first. We have to hear the appeal first. We need to hear the appeal first. We need to have the conversation first.
Okay, well, that's just what it's got on here.
Yes, sir.
We don't have to vote on it.
As for the record, if
It
we
just said
vote-
consideration of appeal, so we don't have to vote on that.
Yes, sir, we do.
So what did I say wrong?
I thought you called for a vote after you read it.
Okay, let's start over.
Okay, let's start over.
Consideration to approve Jack Burns' appeal for reinstatement. All right. I entertain a motion. I don't need a motion.
No motion, sir.
That's it, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm Ben Perkins, and I've been asked to serve today as the hearing officer in connection with this appeal. Is Mr. Burnsett present? Ms. Johnson, did you notify Mr. Burnsett of today's hearing?
The HR office did.
HR office did. And who was that? That was Ms. Dunn? Ms. Dunn, could you come to the forward and confirm that you in fact did notify Mr. Burnsett?
Yes, sir. I called Mr. Burnsett on last Thursday, reminded him of the date and the time of the hearing. He said he had no comments or questions.
And you confirmed to him the location was here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Members of the Board of Commissioners, the appeal process involves the filing of a notice of appeal timely from the county administrator's decision. That's the point at which the employment decision is brought before you. That would be Mr. Burns' appeal. You haven't initiated an appeal of the decision to terminate him. And so the way the process would work is that Mr. Burnsett is entitled to have a representative present. He may bring others to testify. He may submit written documents, and he may question individuals testifying against him. At the close of that presentation of evidence, it is then your role to decide whether to affirm, revise, or revoke the termination. And in so doing, you're duty is to consider all available facts, evidence, and testimony prior to making your decision. This is unexpected. Mr. Burnside is not here. By my watch, it's 10:09 a.m. I would suggest perhaps that we give Mr. Burnside another 7 minutes until 10:15, at which point in time it may be time for the board to consider any actions to take. But that's my recommendation. I can't make that decision, and so it'd be up to, I think you and the board can decide if you want to wait 7 minutes.
So we wait till quarter after, and if he's not here, we'll just have some investigation here.
I think you would have a couple of options. One would be, the policies, as I've read them, and I would like to take another look at them, but as I've read the policies, they're silent on this issue of non-appearance. And I think you would have two options. I think one would be to deem the appeal withdrawn because he didn't appear at the date and time selected. I think you would also probably have another option, which would be to deliberate and then make a decision based on the record that's before you, which the record as of now, as I know it, is the county's policies and the notice of termination, the notice of termination, separation notice, I'm sorry, as well as Mr. Burnside's written appeal documents and the written correspondence that he addressed in his appeal. I think those would be your two primary options.
Okay, so we can just call it off, or we can stay here and deliberate and discuss it.
That's the way I see it. And I'm looking at Mr. Newberry, seems to feel the same way.
All right, we give you.
I know me personally, I'll see what legal counsel says, but, I mean, we've got some folks here today. I mean, even if Mr. Burnside doesn't show up, if anybody has anything to say, I'd be curious to hear what they have to say. That's just me.
Well, when that time comes, I'm seeing, we're already up here and everybody's here. So, yeah.
Short of petitioner not being before us to present, I don't know that we have to hear anything, but I do believe we should deliberate and make a decision. But I see no reason to hear testimony from, unless you.
No, sir, what I was going to say is the individuals that are here today were the witnesses that Mr. Burnside requested. They did not come here to make statements on their own. They were here strictly because Mr. Burnside had requested that they attend.
But I personally would like to bring resolution, some finality to it.
Ms. Dunn, do you have Mr. Burnside's phone number?
I do. You want me to go
I think it'd be best to call him. Let's call Mr. Burnside and find out what his intentions are as well.